This is my 1998 Honda Integra Type R Mugen equipped, and I built that car within a year. Matter of fact, it's been a year today, a year that I bought that car. That car was actually imported a while back from Japan. We actually won this car at auction in July of 2022. The car was imported in December of 2022, but I only acquired it in May of 2023. We actually built this car within the CARGEMS web series. You can actually watch it on YouTube by clicking the link in the upper left corner. But today I want to show you a little bit more about this Honda Integra Type R, and I want to show you the build cost. There's a lot of people who ask me how much this car build cost me overall, and today I'm going to disclose everything. You're going to see the sponsorship, you're going to see the cost of each part that I bought for this car. Matter of fact, probably the worst thing you can do and the best thing you can do is every time you're buying a part, you write it down in your cell phone, and at the end you can see the total amount you lost or you drop into your car. But anyway, we're going to run down the list today from my phone. It's not in any order whatsoever, so you're just, if you want to know how much I paid for the wheels or the wing or whatsoever, you gotta stay till the end to know the cost of everything. By the way, if you're new to the channel, my name is Dom. I've been building cars for the past 20 years. You probably know me without knowing me. I'm the guy who built the Fast and Furious cars, such as the Fast and Furious Jetta for the actor a while back. You can see these videos on my YouTube channel, but today the focus is on this Honda Integra Type R. So buckle up, it might be a long video, but today I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. We are going to run down the list of parts that I bought and the sponsors and everything that went together to create the CARGEM project. So like I said, we acquired this car a year ago, and I did not send the car to bodywork right away because as you can see on the screen, the car was not in the greatest of shape. When we got it, this car was actually what people call a Kanjo build. So like a Japanese street racer style. So the interior was completely gutted. There was some gauges everywhere. The car looked, I mean, for most people, it was a great looking ITR, but I really wanted, at the beginning, I really wanted to restore this car. My initial goal, please keep that in mind because it's going to be very important at the end of this video when you're going to see the total cost of this build. But my initial cost was just to restore the car. It was to acquire a cheap Type R from the Japanese auction and restore it. So technically my goal was to come up with a car under the $30,000 mark. By the way, I need to tell you this. Since I live in Canada, all the prices will be in Canadian money, and the total at the end, I will do the conversion, so you'll be able to see the total cost in US money. So my goal was to stay under the $30,000 budget. $30,000 Canadian money is about 22 grand USD, and keep that in mind. Last year, maybe it was possible to get a spec R, like a 98 spec R, under 22 or around 22, but today it's almost impossible. So keep that in mind. The total cost of the restoration plus acquiring the car, my goal was to stay under 22 USD or $30,000. First thing first, we actually got this car from RB Auto in Montreal, and we paid $16,000 for this car, but there's like taxes and stuff like that, but let's just keep taxes aside. 16 grand for the car. It was a 130,000 kilometer car. It was in great running condition, like AC was working, everything was done to it, like it was in great running order. As soon as I got the car, my goal was to try to find the parts like right away. So I actually got original Type R wheels. Sometimes within my Instagram posts, you can actually see those wheels on the car. They are the original Spec R wheels, 16-inch. I actually paid $1,600 for the wheels. After that, since the interior was completely gutted, I tried to find rear panels for the rear section of the car for the interior. So, and by the way, I just want to point out something. There's some trial and error here. So some parts were bought 2 times because the first one was not the right type or something like that, but you're going to see. So $200 for the panels. They were for a 98 plus Canadian spec car, so the shape is a little bit different, but I found out afterward. Since the front end of the car, the bumper was completely modified, there was some holes into it like canards, a lip. I needed a new front bumper for the car, so $300 in the front for the JDM OEM bumper without any holes. It was in great condition. The paint was total garbage, but nonetheless, it was okay. Also, it was not one of my goals to run the special Honda Access body kit on the car. So at the time, I bought the original Type R side skirt for the car for $120. In the interior, since the car had like a nasty shift knob from, you know, every time you're buying a car at the Japanese auction, there's always like a cheap steering wheel, cheap shift knob and stuff like that. So I had to go with the original titanium OEM shift knob, and it was quite expensive at $320. After replacing the shift knob, I actually bought, believe it or not, a Gen 2 spoon steering wheel for the car. And it was only, brace yourself, because nowadays it is expensive in US money, but I actually paid $1,200 Canadian money for the spoon version 2 steering wheel with the orange button and the hub. So it was pretty cheap, not gonna lie. After that, that's where things got complicated within the keeping the car OEM type of build. I found my first set of MF10 wheels online on Marketplace. They were in Toronto, so it was like quite a drive, but I always wanted MF10 wheels. The only thing though, they were silver. And I was like, this is the only set I may found, so I'm going to jump on it. And I actually paid $43.50 for the wheels, without tires, like without nothing. So I took my car, I drove all the way to Toronto, I grabbed the MF10s, and I realized something after installing the wheels on the car. Please note the car was not restored yet, so I was just trying out the wheels. I realized, you know, silver wheels, they don't look all that great on a white Type R. Then my friend Matt came in and he told me, well, Dom, I've got some bronze MF10s for you. I was like, okay, how much? Well, the bronze MF10s were actually $5,200, these wheels. And to be honest, he could have told me 10 grand, I would have bought them in a heartbeat. These are literally my dream wheels, so I had to buy these wheels. I also wanted to go a little different in terms of wheels and package with them, like, you know, all the accent and stuff. So instead of going with the black MF10 cap, like the regular center cap that you see on all MF10s, almost. So I went with the blue MF10 center cap from King Motorsports, and usually you cannot buy the blue ones separately. You need to buy a set of MF10 for like an FK8 or something in order to acquire them. And they were, honestly, they were the best because they said, we love your build and we want to participate. So I was able to get these blue center cap, which is awesome. I actually paid $330 Canadian money. But the thing is, since we're in Canada, there was $107 worth of brokerage fee. That sucks. When I got the car was pretty low to the ground, and my first intention, well, at least when I found the bronze wheels and first the silver wheels, I was like, okay, let's try to do like a mild Mugen build. So I found a Mugen suspension for the DC2. It just snowballs from here. You're going to see that. So I paid $1,350 for the Mugen suspension. But one cool thing though, the suspension actually came with another full set of springs and 3 dampers. Actually, I had almost 2 complete set of Mugen dampers for the car. Then to go with the wheels, with the blue accent and stuff, I actually bought the spoon lug nuts for 250 bucks from Garage 16. Then we bought the original valve cover. By the way, they are discontinued, so the price I'm going to tell you, it's not that price anymore. I think they go for like $1,000 nowadays, but I actually paid for, it was one order. So valve cover plus gasket plus spoon wipers, $520 for all that, including shipping. So that was a pretty good deal. Then came my tires. I actually purchased Toyo R888Rs for the Bronze MF10. As you can see, they are not on the car anymore. These are Bridgestone Potenzas because this is the only high quality brand that you can get with the original OEM size for the car. There was some part missing in the interior, like trims. There were broken like vents and stuff like that. So I actually got a hookup from JDM Ohio, who got me some interior parts. Of course, they are used market parts, but yeah. So $510 for the lower trim dash, so the lower section with the, there's like a pocket. There was the side markers, because the car had clear side markers at the beginning. I changed that for the OEM ones. Plus the driver side vent for $510. There was some maintenance done to the car as well. I don't know if it's supposed to be part of the build sheet, but I actually paid $155 for an upper control arm. The ball joint was completely shot, so I replaced that on the car. So remember when I told you at the beginning I made some errors? So I installed the Mugen suspension at the beginning. So my friend Matt actually told me, you know what? I've got some Holland's DFVs that I never used before. Would you want these coilovers for your car? I was like, of course. They are like top of the notch, super high quality coilovers. And you know, a lot of top build Type Rs are running these suspensions. So I went ahead and spent $2,000 on the suspension. Please note, they are not brand new because they are not making these coilover anymore for this car, but they were in great condition. I had them checked. The fluid inside were perfect. So we actually removed the Mugen suspension and install the Öhlins coilovers on the car. For the trunk, I actually found the, it's not really the trunk cardboard, but it's the trunk floor for an ITR. It's some sort of a plasticky thing. So I bought that for 200 bucks. In the front, instead of going the easy way with the spoon calipers, I found a set of NSX calipers that I retrofitted in the front. Of course, the calipers needed a full service plus powder coating. They cost me $1,000 plus 200 bucks for the powder coat and the service on them. So new seals, new pistons, everything. So 1,200 bucks for the NSX calipers in the front. By the way, if you're wondering how do you install them on the car, it's actually pretty neat. You keep your original Spec R carrier and the calipers goes right on top of it. So super easy to install, and you know, it's the type of detail that when you see it, it's like, it's a pretty neat detail. Another thing that was not super good looking on the car when I got it was the rear emblem. So I found one on eBay. I know there's a lot of people who think that maybe sometimes on eBay you can find like not genuine stuff. It was an original one from a trusted seller. So I went ahead and bought it. I actually paid $125, shipping included, everything. So I think it's a pretty good deal. It's quite expensive, on the expensive side for an emblem, but it's not bad. Remember what I said when I said that I bought a Spoon Gen 2 steering wheels? Since I went the way with the Mugen way, like with the wheels and everything, I actually bought another steering wheel. So I bought Mugen, I think it's called the Racer 3 steering wheel. So it's the current model in Alcantara with red stitching. I actually paid 610 bucks for that. There's a reason why I bought that steering wheel. It's because I found a guy online who was selling a DC2 Mugen steering wheel hub for $1,000. You know the old saying, if it's too good to be true, maybe it's not true. Send the money to the guy, name, by the way, scammer alert. A lot of people in the Honda community, you know that guy. He was selling at some point a Civic, an EM1, and he scammed a bunch of people with that car. And anyway, I thought the guy was legit, send them $1,000. He sent me the hub, which was actually, first of all, it was for an EP3, DC5, newer model, or EK9, and it was a fake. So completely ripped off. And you know what? The way I paid, the money I used to buy that hub was actually money from selling the Spoon Gen 2 steering wheel. Then there are some few bits and pieces in the car, like there's for the windshield washer cap, mine was broken. Got a new one, brand new from eBay, 25 bucks. I found some Type R floor mats for 250 bucks. The Mugen headers, $775. Not expensive, you might say, but there was a bad repair done to it, and the runners underneath are actually hitting each other, which create a very annoying rattle. At the moment of this recording, the header is still in the car, but I bought a new one from V1 Motoring, 1,200 bucks, but at least it's going to fix the problem. I'm going to fix this header and sell it afterwards. So stay tuned for that. If you want a Mugen headers, that will be 100% fixed. So that's that. For the headers that I wasn't aware that was like badly repaired, I paid 400 bucks just to do like a quick refresh, polishing, redo some welds on it just to look good and pretty. Then I installed it on the car and realized that it was like there was something rattling very bad. Since this car was a base model Type R, I actually purchased the clock, the ITR clock that you got on higher trims. In Canada, all the Type Rs got the clock, but in Japan, there's some base model with a block-off plate. At the moment, I have the clock, but I think that I will remove it and reinstall the block-off plate. I think it looks better, but it was 100 bucks. I actually got a car cover from straight out of Japan for free. It was a sponsorship. I just had to do a post for them on my Instagram, and I'm reposting sometimes because I love the cover. It's pretty high quality. It looks awesome on the car. It's super tight and it's red. And by the way, all the sponsors and partnerships, if you want something for your car, the links are going to be in the description down below. We also got a bunch, and I mean a bunch of hard race parts underneath the cars, like bushing, trailing arms and stuff, for a total of $1,000 worth of parts. But I actually got a pretty hefty discount code and I paid $246 for everything. Shout out to the guys at Hard Race. Again, like I said, the link is going to be in the description down below if you want some hard race parts for your car. Since the list is quite long and there's still a lot of stuff to do, and I don't want you to watch like an hour-long video, we are going to do some rapid fire stuff, and you're going to see them on the screen quite fast, so stay tuned. Then we've got custom intake tube in titanium made by my friend at LP Custom Fab. We paid 550 bucks. The Group M intake, 900 bucks. I forgot to mention the bodywork. The total of bodywork, labor, paint, everything, it was a $12,000 job. It was a partial sponsorship because a job like this is usually way up in the $18,000, $19,000. So $12,000 to redo the whole car. So that means fixed the front bumper that was completely damaged when I got it. Stuff like the rear fenders that were super pulled out. Even the front fenders were quite trash, to be honest. They fixed a bunch of like nasty spots, like some rust spots in the door jambs and stuff like that, just to make it look better. So there was more stuff like the battery holder on the car, original OEM parts. I paid $34 for that. During the winter, we actually rebuilt the power steering pump. All the component in order to rebuild it was $44, but we realized afterward that we messed up something and it was not working properly, so we had to replace the power steering pump for a total of $300. But anyway, it's going to be added to the total. We also did the complete audio sound system to the car. My goal was to keep the car as light as possible because, you know, it's a Type R, it's a truck car, it needs to be light. But we went with some Audison speakers. We've got the component in the doors, you got the two ways in the back, tweeters in the front, the subwoofer, the DSP, the whole complete sound system for a total of $5,000 with installation. It's quite a lot, but it's super high quality stuff. It's not something that you will shatter your glass, but it is like super high quality sound system. Then some other stuff underneath the hood. We've got some clips for $25. We've got the Koyo Rad from the guys at Precision Auto near Quebec City. They are probably one of the top dogs in terms of tuning Hondas. It's a $550 radiator for the car, and they gave us the radiator for free. So $0 for the radiator. We thank them a lot. Then we've got the Recaro seats. We originally had Recaro seats from factory in the car, but they were super faded. They look like very pink-ish. So we replaced them with some better ones for $1,400. In the back, we've got the UKDM taillights. Right now, this is the hot item that everyone wants on their Integra. They usually goes for $750 to $1,200 US. I was lucky enough to pay $850 Canadian money for them. There's this like tiny crack in one of them, but it's barely noticeable. And I was able to live with that tiny crack in the lens to save like $500 at least for like a brand new set. We've got the Mugen radiator cap and the Mugen mirror cover that we bought from King Motorsport at $180. You're going to see it on the screen because even if I read the description, you won't know what I'm talking about, but there's a belt holder that usually goes into a CRX. It's an OEM part. It's for your belt. And that way, when you're installing this part to the car, the belt does not rub on the seat, which is awesome, especially with red Recaros. It's a OEM CRX part. Like I said, I paid $40. Since I replaced the taillights on the car, I changed the seal for $60. Again, I bought another steering wheel hub for $400. It's a checkered sport steering hub. I made an error there because I thought that my horn will work, but it's not the case. So I still need to fix that, but it was $400. We replaced the dashboard on the car because when the car was in Japan, there was a ton of stuff stick to the dashboard, and there was some, you know, some marks and some tears, and it was not great looking. We replaced it for $500. There's in the back, there's the Mugen badge, the Mugen Equip badge. This was in my eBay wish list, watch list for like 6 months. And at some point I was like, I got so many Mugen parts on the car, I need to buy it. $300 for a badge. $350 for a badge, sorry. Okay, the other part is probably one of the most expensive thing that I bought within the last 3 months. And the second most expensive part after the wheels, I think. It's, I don't know if you're going to see it on the screen, but it's the Mugen cluster. Lately on the Integra forum, there's a bunch of Mugen clusters going for sale for like $3,500 to $5,000, $3,500 to $5,000 US money. I actually paid $3,000 for it, but it was missing the bezel. Then I paid $1,000 Canadian money for the bezel for a grand total of $4,000. I don't think it's a lot in today's market for like a complete Mugen cluster. So I'm actually quite happy about it. But $4,000 for the wife, it's a lot. But anyway, it was awesome. It's a great, and plus it's the first thing, well, the second thing you see after the steering wheel. You're driving, you're looking at the cluster, you see the Mugen bezel, the Mugen cluster that goes to 260 kilometers per hour, and you will never make it with that car. But anyway, $4,000 a total for the Mugen cluster. Then there was some Jay's Racing titanium parts. There's the VTEC solenoid cover. There's the very limited edition prop rod for the hood. And there was also the, because I didn't have the Mugen bezel at first, so I bought titanium Chasing Jay's bezel. Total it was $400. I actually sold the bezel for $100 afterwards. When I got the car, I had some HIDs, like aftermarket HIDs, because my original ballast were missing. So I found some original ballast for the headlights. I actually paid, this is a super loud plane by the way, but I actually paid $90 for the new bulbs, and I actually paid $200 for the ballast. Then we've got another set of tires for the car. By the way, on the original wheels, the first thing that I mentioned in this video, the original 16-inch Spec R wheels, I wrapped them with Toyo tires, R1R. These tires were given to me by Toyo Tires, so completely free. But if you're wondering what type of tire I'm running on the original wheels, those are R1Rs. These tires, they are the Bridgestone Potenza RE71RS. I paid $1,000. After that, I bought NGK wires, the blue wires, instead of the crappy red ones that I had, $95. Another thing, if you own a Japanese car, you know that your regular American plate does not fit. I actually bought adapters, so that way my license plate sits super straight in the back, so that was kind of cool. So for that I paid $40. These original Honda Access, brand new in box from the early 2000s from V1 Motoring. I want to shout this guy out because he's the reason why I'm so poor right now. I'm spending so much money to this guy on Instagram. He's always like, he always got the best parts, like the wing, this, a lot of stuff. I actually made a purchase today. I'm going to tell you a little bit more later, but always from that guy. So $550 for these. This is pretty cheap considering that you can actually buy these brand new from ICB for $750 right now, US money. So almost double the amount of what I paid for these. Then all the parts that I'm going to mention now are within the last 6 weeks, because within the last 6 weeks, I sold my S2000. I was supposed to spare that money, but I decided to go a little bit crazy and I spent on the Type R. So here we go. Mugen Gen 1 exhaust, $1,650, which is cheap by the way, because the last one that went on for sale on the Mugen group was $3,200 US, so great deal. Then from my friend at V1 Motoring, the Mugen rear wing, $2,800 plus $300 of paint plus $200 for the badges. Another thing inside the car, the Mugen pedals, $200. Mugen fan switch, $60. Mugen thermostat, $100. By the way, if you're buying like the Mugen pedals, you need the dead pedal that goes along with them. But Mugen does not make a dead pedal that matches their new pedal sets. So Honda Bro Jacob on Instagram is creating these amazing dead pedal that looks just like a Mugen parts. It was 340 bucks. It's a lot of money, but it's worth it if you are like a detail freak like me. So 340 bucks. By the way, I'm going to put the link to his Instagram in the description. So if you want to buy dead pedals for your car, maybe you got an NSX, you got an FK8, something like that. He create these for multiple application. Then there's the Mugen Type RX keyless entry. It's not on the car yet because we need to figure out the wiring. Like I said, this car is a base model Type R, so we need to figure out a way to connect that. But we got the remote, we've got the special door handle with the button right there. And the complete set was, I did not make the conversion, but it was 750 bucks from Integra forums. I'm going to leave the link to that guy. He's selling a bunch of original Honda Access parts, so you need to go check him out. For underneath the hood, John Racing clutch and flywheels from ITR-LX, which is a great help for me. He's helping me a lot with this build. $1340 for the clutch and flywheels. We've got the Mugen strut bars. I'm actually excited about this. I got the strut bars 2 days ago and they are now installed in the car. I paid 1,500 bucks for these in the original box. If you're a Mugen fan like me, it's so awesome. So Mugen strut bars, and then today's purchase. It's not on the car yet because I actually sent the money about an hour ago, and probably when this video will come out, it's going to be on the car. So if you want to see how it looks, go check out my Instagram. The link is going to be there. I post a ton of stuff, and if you want to be the first to see the new stuff to this build, go check out my Instagram. It's worth it. So without further ado, my latest purchase for this car, we've got Super Ganador mirrors in factory championship white for $1,600 Canadian money, which is a good deal. Honda NSX-R horn button to replace the Mugen one. And this is it. This is the cost of this build. So guys, this was the total build cost of my Mugen equipped 98 Honda Integra Type R Spec R build for the CARGEMS series. You can actually watch the whole show. There's 10 episodes of the CARGEMS series on YouTube right now where we take this car, well, we actually follow us within the whole process. You can see us the first time we saw the car all the way to when we revealed the car at Import Fest last year. By the way, if you're in Canada, this car will be at Import Fest next month or so. So you'll be able to see it once again, but with all the new parts. It's going to be awesome. But if you want to watch the CARGEMS series, there's actually 9 episodes right now, plus a 10th episode. The 10th episode will be released somewhere in June because it's actually the last episode about track testing the car. It's like a year after review of the build. It's the last episode of the series. By the way, the series was made possible by ebaymotors. They were the sponsor on this build. There was actually a lot of sponsors in this build, and I want to mention them on the screen so that way you can go follow them, go see their work and stuff like that. So there was Deluxe Esthétique, who actually did the complete custom PPF on this car. It's worth about $2,000, so it's really, really awesome. That way I can drive the car and not be worried about the paint job. There was also Carrosserie Technique Pro, who took care of the restoration. If that name sounds familiar to you, they are the guy who actually made my Fast and Furious Nissan Maxima. You can actually watch a video about this car if you want to revisit this build. It's a bit like the CARGEMS series. We rebuilt the whole car in like 9-10 episodes, so it was quite cool. There was also Produlus, which is a detailing shop who helped me out a lot. And when I mean a lot, they actually dry ice the whole car. It's worth about, in Canada, $4,000. It's a $4,000 job to do the wheel wells, the engine compartment, the floor, everything. And they also spent over 100 hours of detailing on this car. So wet sanding, polishing, ceramic coating, and now the car looks amazing. Like every time the car looks amazing. Since the car was detailed, I probably washed it 100 times and it still looks amazing. So that's also because we use Labo Cosmetica products. They were also a sponsor in that build. And also shout out to Precision Auto, which I'm wearing their shirt right now, who gave us a bunch of stuff, especially the radiator, the Koyo Rad on the car, and a lot of advice. At the beginning, they were supposed to rebuild the engine, but when we realized that the engine was still using its original head gasket and it was not leaking oil, it was not burning oil by any way, we decided to keep the engine like this. It's a pretty healthy engine and there was no need to rebuild it. So guys, this is the end of this video. It was, I've been wanting to do this video for such a long time, but the fact that I was keep adding stuff to the car, I felt like it would be totally irrelevant to do the video since I was still adding up stuff. Now I think that after the Ganadors, the car will stay the same for, I hope, another month or so, and next year I'll do an update video on the build, update the numbers and stuff like that. But let me know what you think. I've been into Hondas for such a long time, and I had FK8s, S2000s, DC2R, Civic Si, you name it. But by far my favorite one, it's that car. If you want to watch the build of this car, there's going to be a link right there. If you want to watch the whole restoration process on this car, it's called CARGEMS. We did the complete restoration on this car. It's 9 episodes. There's actually a 10th episode that will be filmed very soon. It's actually the car being track tested. If you liked CARGEM, well, there's going to be another season. We are actually filming CARGEM 2024 right now with a new build. All I can say is we are actually doing a Euro spec Honda CRX 1.6 IVT, which is basically a Euro spec SIR from Japan, but left and drive. And if you love American cars, we are doing a special version of CARGEMS called CARGEMS USA Special. We are restoring an 87 Pontiac Trans Am GT barn find with extremely low miles. And this car will be just like the Type R. So it's going to be an OEM Plus build with some very cool parts. That's all I can say. So guys, my name is Dom. It was a pleasure as always. By the way, if you want to see more of these builds, some behind the scenes stuff and stuff like that, all my socials are going to be a link in the description down below. Don't forget to subscribe. And guys, I see you in the next one. Goodbye.